part of what I do on Twitter, I think, is journalism. When a lot of times I'll use Twitter with Russia, for example, as simply getting the message out. I mean, I would say in general, it's in a journalism reporting sense, trying to find little tidbits of the story that maybe people haven't thought of. Trying to find new evidence explaining what we think really did happen with Trump in the campaign, trying to rebut new Republican arguments that are trying to, say, get Trump off the hook. And again, trying to sort of get it's almost providing talking points to the public at the same time. I'll get a lot of the same BS arguments that'll come into me about just defending Trump on Russia, and you've always got to keep reminding people, well, actually, his son, his campaign manager, and his son-in-law met with the Russians in Trump Tower, so explicitly for seeking the Russians' help with the campaign. And so to some degree, it's constantly reminding people so they know in the ether they know the talking point, and maybe like we talked about before, to make sure journalists and everybody else sort of remember that too. So, I mean, sometimes it's not as concrete as each tweet on Russia is meant for, contacting so-and-so or whatever. I think it's because we're having this national debate and Trump and company are trying to lie about what's actually going on or hide the truth or deny the truth in the case of the House Republicans, that some of it is just truth-telling. It's making sure that you're constantly cutting through this now 500 days of news or 400 days of Trump's presidency, whatever it is, and so much Russia news that there's so many little tidbits, trying to constantly pull it together and synthesize it for people. So that's sort of what I think I try to do as far as writing about it on Twitter. It's constantly sort of digesting and finding new information to keep reminding people what's actually going on when you've got people lying and you've got too much information, so there's information overload as well. So you kind of need to keep explaining to people, okay, there's 10,000 pieces, maybe you've missed several of them, what's the story? What do we know? What proves we're right? So I think that's part of my goal.